Girl, when I tell you dating after 30 is not for the weak, I mean, you can literally go from sitting at the dinner table, planning your wedding, thinking of kids' names, to all of a sudden being like, who the fuck did I agree to go on a date with? Who is this man? And why does he not know what a 401k is? Like, have you ever been on a date and you're just sitting there looking at him, thinking about how fine he is, thinking about how funny he is, thinking about how good of a job he got, and then the next thing you know, he's telling you how him and his baby mama still live together? Oh, but don't worry, because it ain't like that. And my next thought, check please, because I'm about to bounce. I'm getting the up out of here expeditiously. Because at this point, dating after 30 is giving a little bit more patience, a whole lot more prayer, and a hell of a lot more background checks. So before we get into it, if you are 30 and over and you are tired of maneuvering through life by yourself, you are seeking your village, I want to invite you to go ahead and join my Telegram group. This is going to be a supportive space where you can come and ask questions, you can come and vent about life, and to get real guidance from women who get it. So if you're interested in joining our village, make sure you hit the link in the show notes. Now let's get back to it, because we have to be honest. When you're over 30, you're not just dating for fun anymore. You're dating with intention, but you're also having to deal with emotional baggage, people with kids, people with crazy exes. And then you have those people who are just now getting into their healing phases that they probably should have started about 10 years ago. But hey, they're here now. And let's not act like we're perfect, because some of us did have to learn the hard way that the things and the people that we entertained in our 20s definitely do not belong in our 30s. Because if you're dating after 30, you got to know what you want. And I mean, you have to be specific. You cannot just say, I want a good man. What is a good man? Write it out. I need every detail. You not just out here looking for somebody that you can vibe with. Baby, we left all the vibes in the 20s because all those vibes came with consequences. We can't just settle for vibes anymore. I want to be clear. Everybody is not going to want the same thing. Everybody should not want the same thing. But you do need to know how you picture your life being mapped out in the future. Do you want marriage? Do you want kids? Do you want more kids? Are you okay with possibly a long distance relationship? It's better to figure these things out before you jump out there into the dating pool, because we already know it's hard out there. You know, we're swimming up a creek without a paddle, because the days of wasting time trying to see where things go, it's a no-go. We have no more time to dedicate to people that don't know what they want and don't know what they're doing. We are no longer wasting 2+ years just to finally figure out that a person is not ready for commitment. We're not doing it anymore. We're no longer ignoring the red flags. We're not doing it anymore. We're no longer avoiding accountability. We're not doing it anymore. We are no longer making decisions before consulting with God. We're not doing it anymore. Most of my bad decisions came from me. I thought of something and I was like, oh, you know what? You should do that. I did not consult with anyone. I just made the decision on my own. And I'm not trying to say that I'm a bad decision maker. I'm not trying to say that I don't trust myself. What I am saying is sometimes you'll be thinking what glitters is gold, and it takes you a while to figure out that it's really not gold. It's a fake. But yet you've been pouring into this fake. You have been holding on to this fake. You have been loving on this fake. You have been cherishing the fake. But let me go ahead and put you up on game, because this is the real play. When you're out here in these dating streets, don't ask your hard questions up front. Not up front. See, you got to be a little bit smooth with it. Spark up conversations and let the person reveal themselves to you, because people will show you who they are when they're comfortable. You just got to set the stage. So your job is to create the space for them to talk freely, not for them to be performing. You need to let them speak. Sometimes we get so caught up in interview mode where we're just constantly shooting off questions. Oh, well, do you want kids? Oh, well, do you want this? Oh, well, do you want that? And eventually they know that you're asking a question. And if you're asking the question, they kind of can probably figure out what it is that you're looking for. Also, when it comes to that, if you're doing online dating, I am so tapped out on online dating, but if you are online dating, do not put too much information in your about you. Put things that will leave more of a question mark than a period, because you want to, again, spark up that conversation. Now, back to real life dating. Once you are actually going out on dates and you're talking on the phone, having these conversations, instead of asking somebody, so what happened in your last relationship? Try to be a little bit more creative in your conversations. Ask something like, so what is something that you learned about yourself from your past? That is not specific to relationships. It's very broad. It's very general, but it also is geared towards a certain topic, and you should be listening. Now, this is the part that we often miss because we're not listening. This is when you should be listening, and not only for the answer, you need to be listening to exactly what they say. Because sometimes we'll have things in our mind, and because we're waiting for a particular answer, because, okay, if I ask him about something he learned about himself in his past, you may be searching for something in particular. And you may miss something that's very important. So when you are engaging in these conversations, please make sure you're listening to what these men say, because if you don't listen now, you're going to learn later. So the major things: listen to see if they're the kind of person that always places blame on other people. Listen to see if there's someone that can acknowledge the fact that they have grown from previous situations. And then listen to see if you can identify any kind of patterns, whether it be good or negative. Don't always look for the bad things, because if you look for bad, you're going to find bad and you will not be able to see the good. So make sure you are keeping an open mind. And the next thing that is so important, we have to look for the deal breakers. Now, I'm not saying that, search high and low for them, but just keep an ear out for them. Don't announce your deal breakers. Please do not announce them. You do not need to say, well, I'm not dating a man that's not emotionally available. I'm not dating a man that don't want to pay all my bills. I'm not dating a man that want to do 50-50. Don't do that. Just pay attention. One of the most natural qualities of being a woman is being observant. But in order for you to observe, sis, you got to shut up. Sometimes you just got to be quiet. We miss a lot because we're either talking too much or we're thinking too much. We need to listen a little bit more. I know this may sound harsh, because I know a lot of us feel like in previous relationships, in situations, we fought to be heard. So now we want to make sure our voice is heard. But as important as it is for you to be heard, you also want to make sure that you are paying attention. You want to make sure that you are present, because you can save yourself a whole lot of time and heartbreak if you just paid attention from jump. Sometimes you're fighting to be heard, but had you listened to the man when y'all went on date one, you would have realized he don't want to hear a damn thing you got to say. He's not interested in nothing you got going on. So you fighting 6 months to a year from now, still trying to get him to hear you. But if you would have paid attention from the first day, you would have noticed he don't want to hear you. He ain't gonna hear you. And he's just not that into you. And I'm going to tell you, you really don't want to talk too much, because the moment you start giving men the cheat code, that is when they start playing a role. Now, I don't want to blanket that and say all men do that, but the men that are out to manipulate you, the men that are out to use you, oh, they're definitely doing that. And they are waiting. They are like predators waiting for their prey. And when you give them that cheat code, baby, you might as well just lay down, and because they about to do you dirty. They're going to do you bad. They're going to do you real bad. So once again, sit back, observe, and just let him talk. And stop trying to turn all those maybes into yeses. Because if it's a maybe, it's a maybe. It's not a yes. Get more comfortable with sitting in your femininity. Stop trying to tell a man how he has to be with you. Men, real men, do not want to hear that. They have a mother at home. They're not looking for another mother. And so you coming and trying to tell them what they need to do, what they shouldn't be doing, making all of these demands, and this man barely even knows you. You're doing too much. You're doing way too much, way too soon. And you don't need to tell a man how to be for you. Because the right man is going to come along being himself, and he's just going to align. He's just going to align. I'm telling you, when you have a true connection with somebody, you don't have to work that hard for it. You really don't have to work that hard. The pieces just come together. So now that we have covered the men, we're not just going to talk about them. We're going to talk about you too, because are you working on your healing process? And I say working on because I am a true believer that we are never fully healed. As much as we are working on things, there are always new things that are constantly happening to us, things that we're constantly dealing with. It's always going to be something else. So are you working on your healing journey? Are you emotionally consistent? Are you able to communicate, or do you just shut down? And do you constantly give men chance after chance after chance, even though they don't deserve it? Because listen, I used to have it real bad. I always got chemistry confused with connection. If we go out, we have a good time, you make me laugh, things just flow. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this can be so amazing. Like, I can already see our kids, like, we have such an amazing connection. No, we have great chemistry. We get along. We like similar things. That's not the same as having a connection with somebody. And unfortunately, I wasted a lot of time giving people chance after chance after chance based on chemistry, based on a fire that burned in the beginning and burned out really quickly. So now let's get into the real stuff. Let's get into these background checks because, baby, let me tell you something. We're all 30 plus. So we have lived many lives, and so have they. So it's nothing for you to do a couple keystrokes on the keyboard. You can at least Google his name. You can be a little nosy and check his LinkedIn. And definitely check social media. Now, I know some people are like really against checking up on a person. And they're like, oh, well, you should just let it flow naturally. Get to know the person naturally. Okay, that's fine. I can get to know you naturally. Hopefully you're not the kind of person that posts your whole life on social media. If you are, it's public, and that means that you don't mind me knowing about it ahead of time. So I would definitely check social media, looking for things like relationships, maybe exes. And I'm going to tell you another one. See, a lot of people look at posts. I read comments. Read those comment sections, because a lot of times those exes still be in there, and you see them in there laughing, giggling, flirting back and forth just 3 days ago. I'm not interested in anybody that's still entertaining people from the past, because I can't compete with that, and I'm not here to compete with anybody. So if you still got some unfinished business going on from the past, I'm gonna let you have that. So check those comments on social media. Just Google their name. I'm telling you, that will cut out a lot, especially if a person is like a ex-offender, a convicted felon. Those things will come up. You could possibly see if they're like on probation, because y'all, let me tell y'all, like, I'm like so embarrassed. So one time I was going on a date with this dude, right? And we were supposed to go to the movies. And so I ended up getting off work late. So I'm like, hey, can we catch the 11 o'clock movie? And he's like, oh, I can't go out. That's too late. And I'm like, but we grown. Like, why is 11 o'clock too late? So anyways, he ends up telling me he's on probation. So for those of you who do not know, I work in law enforcement. I've been working in law enforcement for some years now. I'm not a police officer, but I do work in law enforcement. So in my mind, I have talked to plenty of inmates, and I'm just like, most guys are not ashamed of like drug charges or like violent charges. So either you have taken somebody out or you've done some inappropriate things, because people usually aren't, if you're on probation because, oh, I got jammed up selling drugs or whatever, or aggravated assault, like I beat somebody up, something like that. Guys usually aren't ashamed of that. So, I tried that whole go with the flow, get to know them at a normal pace without Googling them stuff, especially since I think I was like new and working in law enforcement at the time. So I was like, I don't want to be, snooping on people. I'm just going to get to know him like organically. But once he told me that, the bells start ringing. So I Google him, and y'all, tell me why he was a sex offender. And I mean, the charge was traveling to meet a minor. I was so appalled. And you know what? I was really upset because the time of the year it was. I was living in Florida at the time, and it's rarely cold in Florida, but it just so happened to be cold these little few times that we went on a date. So he had jeans on, so there was no way for me to see that he had on an ankle monitor. So basically, that's why it was too late, because he couldn't be out past midnight. Listen, y'all, I'm telling you, like, could you just imagine if I would have just kept going on dates with him? I literally probably would have never known until it started getting hot again. And then I'm asking him about his ankle monitor, but he could have lied. But that's what I'm saying. Don't feel bad about doing research on people. I don't care what anybody says. The resources are there for a reason. So once again, if you are dating and you want to get information on the people that you are dating, feel free to check Google. Feel free to check the county clerk websites. Check to see if they have any pending cases. You can see if they are sex offenders. You can check their social medias. We're checking to see if they have any partners or recent partners still lurking. We have to protect ourselves. I'm so serious. On a serious note, like, dating can be dangerous, and better safe than sorry. Especially like you just never know. You just never know people. Technically, everyone's a stranger until they're not. So I just want everybody to be safe. Date, have fun, but be safe. And please, if your gut is saying that something is off, please make sure you listen to it. Stop trying to explain it away. Stop trying to make up these excuses. You don't always have to know the why. Just trust your gut. Because dating after your 30s, it's not just about finding the right person. You want to find the right person, but you also don't want to lose yourself in the process. You want to be able to keep your peace. You want to be able to keep your standards. You want to be able to keep your joy. And I want every single one of you to remember, you do not have to force something when it's real. And you do not have to settle just because you're tired of being single. And most importantly, never lower your standards just because somebody is too afraid to rise up to the occasion. Woo, so we made it through. And if this episode resonated with you or even just checked you a little bit, that's good, because that means that we are growing together. And for all my single girls out there who have not given up on love, I am wishing you nothing but love, light, and a life full of happiness. Because just because you have made it beyond 30 does not mean your love search is over. Make sure you're doing whatever it is that you need to do to attract the love that you deserve. We're not out here searching for it. We're not out here looking under rocks. We're not out here looking behind the dumpster. We're not doing that. We are building ourselves up to be the best person that we can be so that we can attract the love that is meant for us. So make sure you share this episode with your girlfriends, especially those ones that's still out there dating for potential. Make sure you share it with them so we can all level up out here in this dating world. And as always, I hope you felt seen during this episode, because I do see you. I see each and every one of you, and I am rooting for you constantly. And with that being said, I'm just saying, but girl, what are you saying?